Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome to Hook and Sword. My name is Megan and today I'm going to show you how to make Spider-Man. This is a Spider-Man scarf. I am doing this in honor of the movie that is coming out next month. I think it's December 17th is coming out. And in the trailers, I went frame by frame and I saw the back of his new costume is black and white. And the front is the red background with the black body and the white arms. You can actually change the colors if you want to, but I made it close in reference to the new movie. So I made the middle portion red. You could actually change to whatever color you want. You could make the blue that I've seen on his outfits, or you can even make more images on here. But I just decided to keep it simple, and the back of the scarf is going to be black and white, and then the front is going to be the red. So before we get started on this tutorial, if you enjoy this kind of content, feel free and give this channel a subscribe. That will really help me out, and let's jump into it. So let's talk about materials. For red, I use Red Heart with Love Holly Berry. Now, I used a fresh skein of this, and as you can tell, it is over halfway done. So I would actually use a fresh skein for your project, unless you can play yarn chicken, because I've done that before too. But yeah, you're going to be using a lot of this, especially if this middle of your scarf is going to be red like mine is. Definitely going to need a fresh skein. So next I have black and white and Red Heart with Love. Now, this is leftover yarn from previous projects. If you're going to use the same way that I did, you're just going to need whatever you have left over from a previous project. Now for hook size, I actually use a J10 or a 6 milliliter. Next, you're going to need yarn needles and you're going to need scissors. Next, you're going to need bobbins, and if you saw for the corner to corner crocheting, you'll see these bobbins in that tutorial. These are pretty crucial when you're making an image, so that way you can pinpoint where your colors are so you can change them without wasting so much yarn. I mostly wound up white and black because the red is basically throughout the entire project, so definitely need these. So next you're going to need a tape measurer. So usually for adult scarves that I make, it is usually 6 foot long. I am 5 foot tall and I prefer longer scarves, so that's where I usually go for that. If you are making this scarf for a kid, my recommendation is usually a 5 foot or 4.5 feet long scarf, but I always try to make it a little bit longer just in case the kid wants more room. So for planning, I'm going to throw up a couple of screenshots here. This is going to be the black and white portion. I'm not going to really show you how to do the black and white because it is essentially the same thing as the red, and it is really hard to see the black and white on camera. So here is the map to making the black and white, and then here is the map to make the red. So go ahead and screenshot both of these images on your computer, on your laptop, or your phone. So that's it. That is all you're going to need to work on this project. And I'm going to turn the camera down. I'm going to show you how to make this. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the red. We're going to do a slip knot in chain 21. I do have a tutorial on how to do a slip knot in the chain 21, and I will link that below. Okay, so we got that slip knot on the hook, and we're going to go ahead and chain 21. 3, 4. Okay, so this is the 21 chains, and now we're going to skip that first chain from the hook and we're going to do a half double crochet, and we're going to do that in each stitch all the way down, and that should equal to 20 half double crochets. I do have half double crochet tutorial, and I will also link that below. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Oh. Yarn over and go in. Okay, I'm going to do that all the way down. Okay, so once we go all the way down, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. work. And now you're going to go into each loop of that V. So before you were doing it in the first V, now you're going to be doing it in both. So yarn over, insert into both loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And you're going to keep going all the way down, and you're going to do this for 10 rows total. So right now I'm on the 2nd row. Pull through. Go all the way down 10 times. So here is the 10 rows, and we're going to switch to white. I'm going to cut that red like so. Alright, so switching colors. You're going to add that white to your hook. You're going to pull through. Tighten up that red loop, and you're going to just tie a knot right here. I like to tie knots between colors. It's more of a secure thing for me. I know some people don't. Chain 1 and turn your work. Alright, so you're just going to continue doing what you've been doing with the red, and you're going to do a half double crochet all the way down, and you're going to do this for 3 rows. Through. All the way down. Alright, so this is the first row done. I just want to show you, I'm going to be chaining 1 and turning my work like normal. Continue going into both V's. Alright, all the way down. 2 more times. Alright, now we're getting into the image. So I'm starting with the black and white. Just kind of give you a look at what we're going to do when we're switching to the red. The black is just so hard to see on camera, so the actual tutorial will be in a little bit, but it's going to be the same thing if you are working the black. Alright, so first 3 rows is going to be all black by looking at the image on the left. All the way down. And don't forget to weave in your ends as you go. My least favorite thing is weaving in ends, so if I can alleviate some of the stress towards the end of the project, I would do this as you go. Also, it makes it look cleaner as you continue working on your project. So right now I'm going to be creating bobbins for the white. Predominantly this is going to be black, so I'm going to be weaving in the black throughout the image, but the white is going to be by itself in the center. So I'm just going to be following that diagram. So the first stitch is going to be black, and then the white, I'm going to pull it through. And I'm going to be putting that black in the half double crochet, so just leave that resting on the V's and you're going to be crocheting over it. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into both V's, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And as you can see, the black yarn is resting on top of that V, which makes it easier to pull up when you have the black. See how it's in those 2 little loops? So just to give you an example, I'm going to be weaving in the white as if this is black. So as you can see, it's resting on top of the stitches, or the 2 V's. and I'm doing a half double crochet over it. That way when I'm switching back to white, I have it ready to go in between the stitches, like so. Okay, so that is what the end of that row should look like. It's just 2 stitches on the ends for the legs, and I'm chaining 1 and I'm flipping my work. Right now I have 2 bobbins on my scarf, 1 for each side of the legs. So looking at the next row, it is a black, and then I'm switching it to white, chain like so, and tighten that black, and I'm going to continue adding the black in this row. So I'm going to right here into both V's. Insert, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Alright, that's what it should look like. Alright, so now I'm switching to the body portion. I actually created a whole new bobbin for this one, so I'll have 3 white bobbins total. 2 for each side of the leg and 1 for the body itself. So I'm changing the colors for the center because that is what the diagram says on the left. Okay. Yarn over, insert your hook. Make sure, I know you don't see it here, but make sure you add that black in your stitches all the way through. Okay. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's the start of the body. So I'm going to go ahead and go off camera and finish up this black image. And as you can see, it's all done. That's what it should look like. After you finish that diagram, you're going to be switching to the white and do that 3 rows as well. And then you're going to switch to the red, and you're going to be doing a half double crochet for the whole length of the scarf. I did 138 rows of the red for the middle. And how you will be able to find out how long the red needs to be is you would want to measure from the white, from both bars of the white, all the way to the end of the scarf, like so. So mine is 13 inches. So to make this a 6-foot long scarf, the ends are going to be 13, and then the middle needs to be 46 inches. Everybody crochets differently, so make sure you measure your scarf before you get into the main portion of the scarf. So now we're going to be switching it back to white now that I have finished the 138 rows. We're going to be doing that 3 rows of half double crochet. Okay, so I'm changing it to white. I'm going to be tying this together like we did before. Okay, and chain 1, turn your work, okay. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. All the way down. Okay, so I finished my first row. I'm going to be chaining 1 and turning my work and do that second row of half double crochet all the way down. Do it 2 more times. Now we're getting ready for the red. So with the black, I started from the bottom up of the diagram. Now I'm going from the top down because I want the logo to be resting on the ends of it. I wanted the image to face the right way. Basically what I'm trying to say. Alright, so I'm changing it to the red and doing those 3 rows. Alright, so half double crochet. 3 rows. Okay, so looking at this diagram, we are doing the first row. Now I have a little yellow marker. Right now it's to the right of the diagram, so you know which end we're starting on. So the first 2 stitches would be red, and now I am switching it to the white. As you can see, I'm pulling it through. Now I'm gonna keep that red on the V's all the way down, like so. Just keep it resting on the stitches, right there. Alright, so yarn over, insert your hook into those 2 V's, leaving that red resting on top. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Alright, now we're switching back to red. So I'm pulling the red now. I'm going to change the color by chaining. Now I'm going to be leaving the white on this side of the project. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. And continue with the red until we hit the other side of the arm. Alright, so now we're heading towards the other side of the arm, and I got a fresh bobbin. Just like before with the black, I'm going to have 2 bobbins for the arms, and then the black bobbin would be for the body. So I'm changing the color back to white and keeping that red all the way through. So it's just going to be the 1 stitch. So your hook all the way through. Alright, so I'm going to leave the white where it's at and not continue it through the project, and just continue with only red. Switching it to red, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. There you go. That's what the first row should look like. So for the next row, I'm going to be chaining 1 and turning our work. Okay, so the first 2 stitches are again going to be red. As you can see, the yellow marker is on the left side of that diagram. So the next stitch is going to be white again. Okay. Keeping that red with us. Right. So both V's, insert your hook, and pull through. Alright, now we're switching it back to red. Just gotta make sure those things are tight. But since there is 2 legs on each side, I'm actually gonna pull through the white because I'm gonna need that in the next stitch. So just keeping the white on top of the red. Alright, pull through all 3 loops. And then the next stitch is gonna be white. There we go. Change the color. We're going to continue pulling the red through. Yarn over, insert your hook. There you go. Now that we've gotten both arms, I'm going to keep the white where it's at and then continue with the red only. So pushing that aside. Continue all the way down until we hit the other side of the arms. All the way down. Okay, so now we have reached the spot where you have the white and there's like 2 stitches between each one. So I'm actually going to bring this white bobbin over to that second arm. So I'm just going to cut off that part, bring it over, and I'll weave in those ends later. pull through, and then continue like normal, and making sure that the red goes throughout the project. Oops, no, chain one. Just going to be doing a half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull through. Alright, so the next one is going to be red, but since the next one after that is going to be white, so I'm going to pull the white through, like so. Pull through. Alright. So you're going to be doing this back and forth, pulling the white just once or a couple times. Okay, so yarn over, insert into that white, like so, both V's. Alright, and that's the finish of the next row. So now I've got a lot of ends to weave in, so I'm just going to go ahead and take care of those now before I continue on. And just do as many as you can. There's some that I just did, so I'm going to wait a little bit and you'll see what I'm looking like, what it looks like in a minute. So there is an end right there, right where my hook's at, and I'm just going to let that be until I get more white to weave it in with. So just like before, the first two is red, and then we're going to be doing those arms, switching it to white, keeping that red. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Okay. So just alternating between red and white, looks like on the diagram. Okay. Keeping that white with us. Okay. And then I'm just finishing up that row, just like what we did before. And that's what it should look like. Alright, so next row we're going to be starting with the head of the spider. So chaining one, and I'm going to be turning our work. Okay. So just like before, the two stitches be red. Switching it over and keeping that red yarn through. Okay, pull through. Okay, so now I'm on the red. I'm going to be chaining one, just like what we were doing with the arms. So the first two is black. Alright, now we're switching it back to red. Okay, and now I'm finishing it up. And there we go. Alright, so the next row, chaining one and flipping our work, or my work. Okay, so this time we're doing 3 half double crochets, and as you can see, the white is going to be on an odd spot, just like it was in the row before, but this is me showing you how to do it. Okay. So I'm going to be inserting just like that. Wait, half double crochet, not a single crochet. So yarn over, go in. But I'm keeping the white with me, pulling it through like that. Okay, so chain. Okay, so now that I've switched to white, then I can do my half double crochet and then switching it back to that red. The way I like it, see it is, if my rule of thumb is if it is 1 over or on either side, I will drag the yarn like I just did. But if it's 2 or more, I cut the end off and I start a whole new bobbin. I want to keep the project as flat as possible without weaving in so many ends. So, okay. Alright, so now we're on to the black. So as you can see, I'm doing one space away from the previous row. So as you can see, there's that little diagonal line right there. So I'm just going to go underneath it and go into that V and still have that red resting on top of the stitches, like so. And then continue. Okay, there we go. And now I'm switching it back to red. Alright, that's what the next row should look like. Alright, so for the next row, it's going to be the same as before, but we've already dragged the yarn to where it needs to be, so it'll be the same. Okay, now I'm switching it back to red, but I'm keeping that white. And now this is me finishing that row. Just make sure you're following the diagram to the left. Alright, so for the next one, working on the arms. As you can see, I'm dragging it over once with the white. Okay, so I'm finishing off the head here, and I have 2 half doubles in the middle of the black. So I'm dragging the black yarn to the middle so I can pull that through. So there's that red. Now I'm switching it to black and do those 2 stitches. And of course, always make sure that the red is with you. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, so now the head is done, and I'm switching it back to red. And half double crochet until I hit the arms again. And that's what your project should look like. It looks a little wonky right now with the head, but the ends, when I weave it in, it will make it more of a circle. Alright, so the next row we're getting into the body. So since I cut the end of the head, I'm going to still use that same bobbin to continue on with the body. So I'm dragging the white for the bottom portion of the arms. Then you're going to be switching it back to red, and since the inner arm, I haven't done that yet, so I'm going to be keeping the white with me until I get to the inner arm. Okay, 1 and 2. Alright, so skipping over to the body portion. So we have 2 blacks and then 2 reds and then 2 blacks. So I'm switching it to the black. Making sure the red is still with me. 1 half double crochet and the second one. I keep fidgeting because I'm trying to make sure that the project stays tight and it doesn't get too loose on me. And I'm still pulling through that red. Okay. So I got that red. I'm going to be bringing the black with me because I'll be needing that in a little bit. 1 and 2. Still keeping the red. I got my black. And then half double crochet 2 more times. Okay, now the body has started. So now I'm going to keep the black where it's at and then continue on with the arms, and that's what it should look like. Alright, so the next row. We're going to be doing the inner arms as we were doing before. Now we're kind of alternating between red and white at this point. Alright, so now I'm dragging the black yarn out because now the body is going to be getting bigger. Just like what we did before, if it's 1 space away from where your black was on the previous row, I would drag the yarn to wherever you need it to be. Okay. Alright, and that's what it should look like. Alright, next row. For the next 5 rows, it's going to be the same throughout. So I'm just going to show you the first, just show it to you once and then pause the video and you can finish out the body portion. So we're alternating between red and white for the arms. Okay, so we're dragging the yarn out, and this is going to be the whitest portion of the body, which is 10 stitches. So we're going to do 10 black half double crochets. Make sure you get that. Okay. And then I did the 10 half double crochets, and then I did the arms. So as you can see to the left, it's going to be 5 rows that same way. Okay, so that is what it should look like. I went ahead and did that off camera because it was the same throughout. Now following for the diagram, we'll be alternating between red and black. Alright, so we are tapering down the body. We're making it smaller, so since it's 1 space, I went ahead and did that. Alright, so this is the final row of the inner arm. Okay. Now I'm making the black, switching it back to black. Okay, that's what it should look like. Alright, so following the diagram, we're just doing the outer arm and then finishing out the body. So switching it to white. Okay, so now I'm actually bringing the black yarn with me in the body. I know it's 2 stitches, but the fact that I'm going this direction, it's gonna hide pretty well. Okay, so now I'm switching it back to the red, and I finished out the body. So now we're doing the final row of the image itself. So just finishing out the outer arm, red, and then the final row of the white. So now I just cut off the white because that is all I needed. I left it fairly long, so as you can see there is holes throughout the arm, so I'm going to be weaving those in to pull the scarf together a little bit, and that's what it should look like for the end. Okay, so I left the long strings of white to weave in later, and so for the last 3 rows we are going to be doing red, and we're finishing out the way we started with the black and white. So half double crochet all the way down for 3 rows. All the way down. So that is the 3 rows. Now I'm switching it back to white like we did before, and that's going to be the 3 rows of white. Okay, switching it to white, and then do the ties. Oh, chain 1 first. Okay, so 3 rows of white, all the way down, 3 rows. Now we're switching it back to red and do the 10 rows of half double crochet in red. Okay. Making that knot, but chain 1 first. Flip your work. Alright, just like before, half double crochet, all the way down 10 times. Okay, so now it is done. So we're going to fasten this off and weave in all the ends, and just make sure that the image looks good. Okay, got that loop, and pull it through. Alright, so now I got my yarn needle. I'm going to be starting with the white and just weaving it in. Make sure that whatever color you're weaving in, you're weaving it in the same color. Like so. As you can see, there's some spacings of red between the whites, so I'm going to cover that up with the white, and that is what it looks like. It is all done. There is the red and there's the black and white. So that's it. That is how you make the Spider-Man scarf. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I loved making it. And if you do decide to make this, please tag me on your Instagram or your Facebook. I would love to see them. And if you have any questions or any special request of videos you'd like to see in the future, please leave a comment down below. And if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!